Hi there. Thanks for coming. I've set up over here where the trees give some shade for the screen and projector. Tegan, you look as if you have been summoned to the principal's office. This will be short and informal, so just relax.
Sorry. It's just that I never got on with high school science. I always just scrap passes, and to be honest I was bored to tears in my science classes. It took Mike a long time to persuade me to come.
That's perfect. Just what I wanted to hear.
To be honest, it took a while for me to persuade myself to come. I enjoyed my science classes, but to me, mysticism and science do not mix. Oil and water, true knowledge versus age-old superstition.
Again, that's great. You're two perfect reviewers for my trial presentation. Let's get the show on the road, and see if I can change both your minds about science and mysticism. In our brief overview of our planned discussions, I think it would be helpful to employ the journalist's trick of thinking about the WH words. Where? Why and who? What and how? A simple Venn diagram highlights the area I would like us to review, the possible intersect between science and mysticism. Are there any areas where the scientist and mystic can find common ground? As for the where, our presentation is based on discussions with fellow visitors of many different races, beliefs and religions in present-day Shangri-Las scattered across the globe, from California and Europe in the West, to many exotic countries in the Far East. I think you will see why I am combining the why with the who in a moment. Having watched many televised discussions on a wide range of religious, paranormal and spiritual topics, I am becoming increasingly concerned about the impressions professional skeptics are conveying to a wide audience. In discussions, skeptics tend to occupy the intellectual high ground by speaking last, without challenge, express authoritarian, debunking, skeptical views on topics which are often outside their own fields of professional expertise. Sadly, unlike the long-gone days of the ancient Greek philosopher-scientists such as Aristotle and Democritus, the volume and specialized diversity of scientific knowledge has grown so vast that no academic, however brilliant, can know all that is to be known. It is perhaps significant that the late biologist and polymath, Lyle Watson, held degrees in biology, geology, chemistry, marine biology, ecology and anthropology, which gave him the breadth of vision needed to explore the possible links between science, religion and spirituality. The ambitious goal of this presentation is to challenge the dogmatic skeptics in the way they are used to questioning others. We will also combine the what with the how. Following Lyle Watson's example, we'll explore as wide a range of relevant science topics as possible. Hopefully, the video clips and simulations of these topics will help our discussion. Let's have a quick overview of some samples of mini video clips. Let's quickly review the differences between the thinking of an Eastern mystic and the typical mindset of a Westerner. It is a very black and white, broad-brushed approach, and I would like you to chip in at any time and challenge me on any point you do not agree with. Okay with you, Mike?
Fine with me.
Okay, Tegan.
Fine with me. Well,
I think is fair to say, the Eastern mystic seeks to understand the universe in which they live using an introvert approach. By meditating and looking inside themselves for answers. Westerners, on the other hand, seek knowledge and an understanding of life's meaning, using an extrovert approach. Looking to the world outside them. Discussing issues with others. And performing experiments. One of the main themes in Eastern mysticism is the emphasis on the impermanence of all things. This was eloquently expressed nearly 300 years ago by the Mohican chief or Pumut. In the presence of eternity, the mountains are as transient as the clouds. In a similar vein, 2,500 years ago, the Greek philosopher, Heraclitus, proposed his doctrine that change is the universe's central theme. His famous comment is, "You cannot step into the same river twice." Two reasons why this is true.
Like the river ask behind us, a river is always changing.
and the person stepping into that river is always changing as well.
Perfect. This viewpoint is entrenched in our language, sayings such as etched in granite, carved in stone, built on bedrock, imply, as the author Robert Holdstock wrote in 2013, that the stones of the earth exists for all time without consciousness, a permanence of form, but not of life. The ancient Arab saying, "Men fear time, but time fears the pyramid," suggests the same idea, but centuries later, stone looting, sand blasting by desert winds, the eroding tongues of rain and icy teeth of winter frosts, plainly show the pyramids are as impermanent as everything else is in the universe. There is plenty of evidence for the erosion and impermanence of granite in the shingle and sand around the Cairn over there. I photographed the clean surface of a granite rock on the bank, then found some coarse shingle granules of feldspar, mica and quartz crystals from eroded granite. Finally I found some fine sand. The small crystals of these three minerals are still visible. If the concept of impermanence is the first precept of Eastern philosophy, then the notion of the Zoid, emptiness, must surely be the second. The Mahayana Buddhist text, the Heart Sutra, which it is thought was written in China, asserts that the void, the emptiness of blue-black space, is contained in everything. This body itself is emptiness, and emptiness itself is this body. Over 1,500 years later, these words were echoed by the Dalai Lama. Emptiness is the true nature of things and events. And Albert Einstein's surprising assertion, there is no matter. In the West, however, phrases such as solid ground, building on solid foundations, reflect our everyday experience of solid reality. In our brief view of the submicroscopic structure of granite rocks and quartz crystals, we will highlight the fact that over half the volume of a rock is empty space. More surprisingly, when we look at the atoms which make up the rock, we will discover that far from being the solid, miniature billiard balls we played with when building molecular models in chemistry classes, the atom is in fact over 99.99% nothing. Matter does not look as solid as we first thought. the third underlying theme of Eastern philosophy, the concept that matter and the entire universe is conjured up out of vibrations, is perhaps the hardest of the three concepts to accept in view of our everyday experiences and the 19th century science we learnt at school. Yet strangely, growing scientific evidence over the last 100 years has confirmed the fundamental role of vibrations in the universe. Electrons and nuclear particles are now thought of as being both particles and waves, vibrations within the atom. A century ago, Nikola Tesla, who pioneered the electrical supply of alternating current, commented that, "If you wish to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency and vibration." As Joseph Rain poetically commented, "The universe is constructed of fundamental forces or fields, resembling an invisible nervous system, which stretches throughout space and is continuously vibrating, becoming and transforming trillions of times per second. Vibration is the fundamental essence of everything." Let's try a couple of experiments related to vibration frequencies. Tegan, what color are the flowers of the marsh marigold plants growing on the river bank over there in the soggy ground?
Even without my long-distance glasses, I can see they are plain white.
Do you agree, Mike?
Yes, they are obviously white.
That butterfly fluttering around the flowers would not agree with you. Using its ultraviolet sensitive, compound eyes, it sees the flowers in hues of shimmering blue and violet. There are even prominent lines on the petals, like road markings, showing the way to the sweet nectar at the flower's center. Mike, remembering your high school physics? Any suggestions for a conclusion?
Yes, I think so. If I remember correctly, ultraviolet light has a shorter wavelength, and therefore a higher frequency, than the blues we can see.
Tegan, here's a vibration teaser for you. Look upriver at something that's out hunting for its supper.
That's an easy one. Bats use ultrasound that we cannot hear, a kind of sonar, to hunt for flying insects.
Right. The bat sends out pulses of ultrasonic sound that reflects back to its highly sensitive ears as an echo, which the bat's brain decodes to identify the position of its unfortunate insect prey. The system is like the human radar used to locate planes. The bursts of sound on the video have been amplified and the frequency decreased to a value within the range we humans can hear. We cannot leave this example of vibration without mentioning an amazing parallel with human electronic warfare. You and I cannot hear anything of the life and death drama unfolding up the river. Flying insects such as moths, however, can hear ultrasound, and on detecting a bat in the area, they immediately try to land on the ground, or on the branch of the tree to evade detection. The insect even emits its own ultrasonic signal to jam the bat's return echo, confusing its echolocation system. The tiger moth takes its defense a step further by sending out a warning ultrasonic signal, at a frequency of over 600 bps, warning which essentially tells the bat, "Don't eat me, I taste nasty." The canny insect lives to fly another night. Mike, let's finish this vibration section with two examples from you. Unless I am mistaken, you are carrying both an extremely high and a very low frequency vibrator.
Really, that's news to me.
Hint, one vibrator is on your wrist.
My quartz crystal watch.
Exactly so. If we were to open your watch, we would find a small metal cylinder containing a very small quartz crystal. The lithium battery applies a voltage across the sides of the crystal, making one side positive, and the other negative. The piezoelectric effect causes the crystal to oscillate, vibrate backwards and forwards at a precise frequency, exactly 32,768 times a second, year in and year out. The circuit monitors the vibrations, sending a signal with great precision every second that advances the time displayed by the watch.
I guess the other device must be my mobile phone. I can put that on vibrator mode for incoming calls.
Yes, I was thinking of mobile phones but not the vibration mode option. You can detect that easily by ear and body contact. I am really thinking about the microwaves which transmit and receive messages. Those vibrations, even though they are described as very short radio waves, are at a far lower frequency and longer wavelength than our unaided senses can detect. To me, it is one of the amazing facts of our high-tech world that you can be standing on the top of Everest, or in the middle of a desert, and the air around you will be filled with thousands of mobile phone microwave signals that you cannot hear. As Aldous Huxley put it, the doors of human perception are very narrow. Our unaided human senses can detect only a very limited range of vibration frequencies. We cannot see the shimmering blue violets of reflected ultraviolet light which makes white flowers so attractive to butterflies. Neither can our eyes see the infrared light, clearly visible to the pit viper, that radiates from the hot body of its unfortunate prey in the pitch-black darkness of a cave. Our hearing is also restricted to a narrow door of sound vibration frequencies. As we just mentioned, our human ears cannot hear the very high frequencies of the bat's sophisticated, ultrasonic sonar. The very low frequency vibrations of infrasound, which are inaudible to the human ear, are used by elephants to communicate at least 70 types of message through the ground over a distance of up to 10 kilometers. Even more impressive is the whale's use of infra and subsonic sound to communicate over hundreds and perhaps thousands of miles of empty ocean. Dolphins also use a sophisticated echolocation system involving a very wide range of frequencies from infra to ultrasounds to navigate and catch food. Thomas More could not have known about infra and ultrasound when he penned the poetic words, "To sail o'er silent seas again." To the human, the world beneath the waves is a silent one, but to the denizens of the deep, it is filled with a cacophony of sound. There is no doubt that we are surrounded by a polyphony of vibrations, some at a too high, others at a too low frequency for our human senses to detect. Our Goldilocks range limits our perception of the true nature of the world around us. To return to Einstein's comment on matter, he also observed that what we call matter is energy whose vibrations has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. We can learn to read the books in the running brooks, but sadly, we cannot hear the sermons in the stones. Let's summarize our suggestions before looking quickly at the last 3 points. Comparing Eastern mysticism with Western materialism, we have suggested that mysticism is an introverted, the Western viewpoint an extroverted approach. The East recognizes the impermanence of everything whilst the West seeks permanence. Eastern philosophers see emptiness, the West solid reality. To the mystic, vibration is the source of everything whilst traditional Western science studied static, solid matter. Next, we will review how the Eastern mystic and the philosopher-scientists of ancient Greece believed that geometrical regularity is the basis of all things. The view in the West tends to be that there are only a few special cases of geometrically regular natural objects,